Take two.
Hey, no time to play. A, B, A, B, C, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, like English.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, one and all. Here I am, Professor Victor Singingeagle at Sisseton, Wahpeton College, getting ready to start a storytelling session. So, as we prepare for this storytelling session, I do need to refer you to this book again. Read, Listen, Tell. Edited by Sophie McCall, Deanna Reeder, David Gartner, Gabrielle Horindale Hill, et al. I'm going to refer you specifically to the story written by Thomas King. And the last time we were looking, or one of the times that we were looking, Thomas King was telling the story which is called You'll Never Believe What Happened, is always a great way to start. This is on page 63 of our textbook. I read a lot of this, and we were looking at the story of the woman who fell from the sky with a new twist on it. That is the humorist Thomas King. And one reason why I am bringing you back to this has to do with this concept of the creation of the real people, the creation of man. I might have told you the story already, but just to recap, in my tribe and many other tribes, especially Mesoamerican tribes, we believe that the Creator made humans more than once. There was a cooperative effort as well, and there was more than one try at making human beings, but it was still a cooperative effort. Also, this is mentioned in our textbook, the other one by Daniel Heath, Justice, this cooperative effort. But rather than me sit here and lecture you too much, just forward to page, because we already witnessed that she has fallen from the sky and almost landed in the ocean, but all these water animals, aquatic animals, rescued her and stuck her on the back of a turtle. And she's sitting on the back of a turtle and she's thinking, and all the other animals are thinking. Says here on page 71. Well, as it turns out, the only place in this water world that was large and flat was the back of the turtle. Okay, said Turtle. But if anyone else falls out of the sky, she's on her own. So the water animals put Charm on the back of the turtle. Charm is the woman who fell from the sky, and Thomas King calls her Charm. Put Charm on the back of the turtle, and everyone was so happy. Well, at least for the next month or so, until all the animals noticed that Charm was going to have a baby. It's going to get a little crowded, said the muskrats. What are we going to do? Said the geese. It wouldn't be so crowded, Charm told the water animals, if we had some dry land. Sure, agreed the water animals, even though they had no idea what dry land was. Charm looked over the side of Turtle down into the water, and then she turned to the water animals. Who's the best diver? She asked. A contest! Screamed the ducks. All right, shouted the muskrats. What do we have to do? Asked the eels. It's easy, said Charm. One of you has to dive down to the bottom of the water and bring up some mud. Sure, all the water animals said. even though they had no idea what mud was. So, said Charm, who wants to try first? Me, said Pelican, and he flew into the sky high as he could and then dropped like a knife into the water. And he was gone for a long time. But when he floated to the surface out of breath, he didn't have any mud. It was real dark down there, said Pelican, and cold. The next animal to try was Walrus.
I don't mind the dark, said Walrus, and my blubber will keep me warm.
So down she went, and she was gone for much longer than Pelican. But when she came to the surface, coughing up water, she didn't have any mud either.
I don't think the water has a bottom,
said Walrus.
Sorry.
I'm sure you're beginning to wonder if there's a point to this story or if I'm just going to work my way through all the water animals one by one. So, one by one, all the water animals tried to find mud at the bottom of the ocean, and all of them failed until only one animal was left, Otter. Now I'm going to skip over this and we're going to go all the way to page 70. Otter goes down, he gets some mud, and they get the mud and bring it up and put it on the back of the turtle. And I'm now on page 73. But before the animals could decide who was going to live where or what to do about the mud lump, Charm had her baby. Or rather, she had her babies, twins, a boy and a girl, one light and one dark. One was right-handed, one left-handed.
Nice looking babies, said the cormorants. Hope they like mud.
As it turns out, they did. So they got all the land and they started making landscape and rivers and all, and piling up mountains and deep valleys. I'm just summarizing what the book says here. Rivers and everything. And I'm skipping to page 74. That's handy, said the animals. As soon as her brother had finished, left-handed twin made the rivers crooked and put rocks in the water and made it flow in only one direction. This is more exciting, she told the animals.
Can you put in some waterfalls? Said the animals. Everyone likes waterfalls.
Sure, said left-handed twin, and she did. So they were working together and they were making the earth as it is. Have we forgotten anything? The twins asked the animals.
What about human beings?
Said the animals.
Do you think we need human beings?
Well, why not? Said the twins. And quick as they could, the right-handed twin created women, and the left-handed twin created men. They don't look too bright, said the animals. We hope they won't be a problem. Don't worry, said the twins. You guys are going to get along just fine. The animals and the humans and the twins and Charm looked around at the world they had created. Boy, they said, this is as good as it gets. This is one beautiful world. Now, I'm at the bottom of page 74. This is a neat story, isn't it? It's a little long, but different, maybe even a little more exotic. Skip over to page 75. As for stories such as Women Who Fell from the Sky, well, we listen to them and then we forget them. For amidst the thunder of Christian monologues, they have neither purchase nor place. After all, within the North American paradigm, we have a perfectly serviceable creation story. And it goes like this. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth was out form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. And the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters, and God said, Let there be light. And then there was light. You can't beat the King James Version of the Bible for the beauty and the language, but it's the story that captures the imagination. God creates light and night and day and sun and the moon and all the creatures of the world, and finally, toward the end of his labors, he creates humans. Man first and then woman, Adam and Eve, and he places everything and everyone in a garden, a perfect world. No sickness, no death, no hate, no hunger. And there's only one rule: of every tree of the garden thou mayest freely eat, but of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil thou shalt not eat of it. For in the day that thou eatest thereof thou shalt surely die. One rule: don't break it. But that's exactly what happens. Adam and Eve break the rule. Doesn't matter how it happens. If you like the Orthodox version, you can blame Eve. She eats the apple and brings it back to Adam. Not that Adam says no. A less misogynist reading would blame them both, would chalk up I can't say the word, debacle that follows as an unavoidable mistake, a wrong step, youthful enthusiasm, a misunderstanding, willfulness. But whatever you wish to call it, the rule has been broken, and that is the end of the garden. God seals it off and places an angel with a fiery sword at the entrance and tosses Adam and Eve into a howling wilderness to fend for themselves, a wilderness in which sickness and death, hate and hunger are their constant companions. Okay, two creation stories, one native, one Christian. The first thing you probably notice is that I spent more time with a woman who fell from the sky than I did with Genesis. I'm assuming that most of you have heard of Adam and Eve, but few, I imagine, have ever met charm. I also use different strategies in telling the stories. In the native story, I tried to recreate an oral storytelling voice and a craft story in terms of performance for a general audience. In the Christian story, I tried to maintain a sense of rhetorical distance and decorum while organizing the story for a knowledgeable gathering. These strategies color the stories and suggest values that may be neither inherent nor warranted. In the native story, the conversational voice tends to highlight the exuberance of the story, but diminishes its authority, while the sober voice in the Christian story makes a formal recitation but creates a sense of veracity. Now, I'm going to knock it off there because I'm going to sit here and just read. There's a method to my madness, you say. As Thomas King is pointing out, there's a term for this. Natives, when we tell the creation stories, especially the creation of man, it is called relational creation. That's the technical term, or if you're like anthropology, it's called distributed agency. And for the I'm starting to slobber. Yeah. Right. Authoritarian creation is the Western version. It's usually one God doing it. Whereas with natives, it's a bunch of God and his partners and Coyote and other animals, and they all get together, and it's a cooperative effort. So that's relational creation or distributed agency with the natives, and with the non-natives or the Western, they call it authoritarian creation, or, if you're an anthropologist, centralized agency. Now, I'm going to share with you a little bit of the oral tradition of the creation of human beings. If you remember right, I told you in one of my stories that God first tried sticks and then stones. and then slime, and each time that God created human beings, or the creator Kitchi Manitou, some people say Tenkachla. I can never pronounce it right, Tenkachla. Um, and then Coyote came up to him and said, whispered in his ear, and creator said, ah,
That's a great idea.
and so they mixed sticks, stones, and slime and clay, and they made what we call the balanced man. This is the first real people, real person. Now I'm going to try to make this thing work. Here is a wonderful AI depiction of the creator and Coyote together. And this is where I want to pick up, because this is going to probably show up on a quiz or a test. That's why I'm bothering you with it now. Okay, here we go. We already talked about the slime people, blah, 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 blah. And now, what was it? Okay, let me see here. Wow, this is kind of cool, Coyote said. Once he created human beings, the balanced man, and the creator blew his breath of life into his nostrils. Then the two of them went hog wild, making humans in different sizes and colors until the entire beach was covered with the new creatures. And almost immediately, however, these new human beings began running around misbehaving. Just like little kids, they quickly learned exactly how to push God's buttons, often making him completely, spiritually, divinely angry, but never quite angry enough to cause him to destroy them forever. Besides, whenever God was about to punish them, they'd look at him with their big human eyes, and the Creator would say, "Oh," and that would be the end of it. Well, one problem is we got them all lumped together in one place, Coyote said. And you know they're bound to get into trouble that way. Look, they've already gotten into your magic apples. And if you're not careful, they're going to start plucking other stuff off your other sacred trees. Okay, guys, break it up, break it up. So this Coyote is telling human beings to break it up. They're all clumped together. They're all overcrowded in this one area. And he's saying, okay, guys, break it up, break it up. Look around. There's room for everybody. Exactly, said Kitchi Manitou. The world is your oyster, so spread yourselves around and enjoy. Just stay out of my garden, please. Oh, and a few things before you go. Now, you new people, you real people, are among my greatest creations, and because you look so much like me, you'll be among my favorites. Of all the creatures on this earth, it is within you that I shall place my strongest love of life and beauty. So here is the Creator. He's getting ready to bless the new people, the real people. He says, although your vision will not be as sharp as the eagle people's, I shall give you my eyes with which to see in the broadest spectrum. The eagle people see sharp because they have to, but you will be able to appreciate the colors of the rainbow, the reds, yellows, blues, or the shifting hues of the lights on the hills, the greens, the ambers, or the explosion of color at every sunrise and sunset. All this you will experience with greater joy because I want you to. And although your hearing will not be as acute as the wolf people's, I shall give you my ears with which to listen. The wolf people hear acutely because they have to, but you will be able to listen to the symphony of birds in the trees, or the melody of ocean waves, or the sweet music of wind in the trees with greater appreciation because I want you to. And although your sense of smell will not be as detailed as that of the bear. That of the bear people, I shall give you my nose, with which you can smell. The bear people smell in detail because they have to. But you will be able to inhale deeply the fragrances of spring flowers, of morning dew, of freshly fallen snow, because I want you to. And although your sense of taste will not be so powerful as the snake people's, I will give you my tongue with which to taste. The snake people taste with intensity because they have to, but you will delight in the fruits of the land with greater joy. The fresh berries, honey and nectar, and wild rice, not on hot wild rice stews, because I want you to. And look, all the other animals I have covered in fur, feathers, and scales, but you I have kept naked for a purpose. I have given you my skin, for of all the animals, your sense of touch will be greatest. Your newborns will reach out for the softness of their mothers' faces, the sinew of the father's arms. Your children will learn the rough surfaces of tree bark, the warm texture of wool, the fluff of cottonwood down. Young lovers will yearn for the circle of each other's embrace. Your men will stretch out and grasp each other's hands. Not only because I want you to, but because you will have to. And finally, I shall command the tree people to shade you, to produce more branches and bark to increase the size and succulence of their fruits, so that your meals, your shelter, your clothing shall literally fall into your laps. Even more, I shall command the springs to rise up from the ground to quench your thirst with water so crisp that it brings tears to your eyes. When Kitchi Manitou finished, Coyote tugged on his sleeve, tugged on Kitchi Manitou's sleeve, whispered into his ear, and Coyote clapped his hands to, or the creator clapped his hands together in delight. Ah, splendid idea, splendid idea. Whiskey. Whiskey is what we call Coyote. Whiskey, you are so clever indeed, and for that I will make you master of all life, master of all my children. And my children, Whiskey also has a gift for you. He wants to give you his curiosity. From this day on, you will climb mountains for the sole purpose of experiencing the world from their heights, dive oceans just to witness their depths, or reach for the stars just to see them more closely. Your thirst for knowledge will be unquenchable, and someday, when your wisdom approaches mine, I will draw you to me not only as my children, but as comrades. Now, this is, I could go on and on and on and on reading this story to you, but this is good enough. This is why I have this creation story and it's wonderful. I described this story to AI and I said, hey, can you draw me the creator and Coyote together? And they're just now creating human beings, and this is what the creator came up with. And it also has here another one. Kitchi Manitou spoke, and look, all the other animals I have covered in fur, feathers, and scales, but I have kept you naked for a purpose. But you I have kept naked for a purpose. I have given you my skin. For of all animals, your sense of touch will be greatest. I have given you my skin. You have to hold one another because not only because I want you to, but because you will have to. So this is the AI creation. It mixed everything all up, but that's okay. There is a method to my madness, as I always say. This is the story that I'm going to stick with. And again, this story in the Bible, it is an authoritarian creation, or anthropologists call it centralized agency. But for we natives, the creation of humans is relational, or as the anthropologists call it, distributed agency. So that's all I'm going to bother you with for now. I thank you so much for being so patient and kind with me. You guys have an awesome rest of the day. Talk to you later.